Hey everyone, just responding to our prompt from this week. First of all, I would need to check my own stereotypes. To be honest, when I first read this, I was thinking those parents are a bit crazy for adopting several different nationalities. And I only say that because I nannied for 3 different families and they had 2 races in their house, 2 racial identities in their house, and that was hard enough. And they're talking, that's like 6 there. There's 6 racial identities that could be presented, and so I'd have to put that stereotype aside. I would also need to come with an open mind. It says that they're having a hard time finding their identity, those boys, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily related to race. There are teenagers. It could just be, all teenagers go through that at some point, and so making sure that I'm open-minded to hearing what they have to say beyond their intake form information here. And somehow I would need to avoid microaggressions. And I think for me that would take a lot of prayer and a lot of rereading what exactly is represented in this family and what are things we can talk about big picture, and maybe even just let them know up front, hey, I'm going to work my best to make this a safe space for you. I will call me out if you hear me saying something that's offensive to you, and I'm not afraid to apologize if necessary. Sometimes in my work with teens here at the church, I find that they really appreciate that vulnerability, so maybe that would be something I could do. I also would want to assess some of the boys for their risky behavior. I don't know what boys are doing which things, but there might be some scary drug-related things. I don't know if there's risk of suicide because of those things, but making sure that we did those assessments would be vital. And then asking each child how they identify, and including the biological kid. Because it's really important, and it would help bring some unity to the family in a session if we're just going down the line, mom, dad, all kids. How do you identify racially? What does that look like for you? And maybe some sessions need to be split up depending on the behavior of the boys, so it may be like both parents and one boy or both parents and the girl, to help them understand they're all different. They might all be struggling with similar things, but their story is different and their heritage is different. And so it might be a benefit to do some sessions that are just with one kid and the parents. And I was even thinking maybe just one with the parents to help equip them to have a conversation about bullying with their kids. That's something they seem to all have in common. Maybe not the biological girl, but in my experience, sometimes the biological kid takes a lot of heat because their siblings don't look like them. So I don't know, maybe some conversations about bullying or equipping the parents to have those conversations with their kids could be helpful. And then maybe helping that family plot and plan some things they could do from these heritages represented in their family. Pulling up some resources or giving them some deadlines, or just helping them map out how they could get to know these heritages a little bit better could be helpful. Maybe a strengths finder test. We've been talking about finding the strength of the client, and this is a human family with a lot of different backgrounds, and so maybe finding something about their strengths and how they work together as a family would be encouraging for them. And so those are some things that I think I might be able to do. I would love to see more of this counseling played out and see especially how you avoid microaggressions and how you handle them in the moment or when you realize that it happens. Because that'd be really hard with some of these multiracial clients, because there are a lot of things to not avoid, but there's just a very kind way to speak, but it's very intentional. So it'd be hard to kind of make things up, and it might take a lot more planning to do these things. And this has been a really interesting scenario for us to think through, but I think those are some of the things that I would do for them while working to avoid microaggressions and avoid making assumptions based on the little bit of information we have here.